Oh, here we are.
Yes, we are. We're here. We're live. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. It's Sarah and Liane here from She Thrives, which is an innovative women's wellness center in downtown Belleville. And Liane provides counseling and psychotherapy services here at She Thrives. And we are acknowledging that Mondays are mental health Mondays here at She Thrives. And so each week, this is a new thing that we're doing. Each week, we're going to discuss a different topic associated to mental health and mental wellness. Today we want to start off by talking about postpartum depression.
Yes, yes, yeah. I was actually reading a recent article that the Canadian Medical Association put out, a study on postpartum depression showing that at least 20% of women will experience some form of postpartum depression, whether it's mild, moderate, severe psychosis. At least 20% of women will experience postpartum depression. And I know for myself, it really wasn't until I started studying postpartum depression in school that I realized, oh my goodness, I actually experienced mild postpartum depression with my after the birth of my second daughter. And it was when I was reading the symptoms of it, and I was reading things like you're in a fog, and I felt, for me, the first 6 months after my second daughter was born, there was 2 years between my girls, so I had a 2-year-old and a newborn, and I at the time just chalked it up to adjusting to having a second kid, and the baby wasn't sleeping through the night, and my toddler was up all through the day. My husband was working, so extreme sleep deprivation and all the rest. And that's what I chalked it up to. And it wasn't until I was actually studying postpartum depression and the symptoms of it that I realized that wasn't just sleep deprivation. There was more going on there. Yeah. And I'm just fortunate, for me, mine was mild, and eventually, I did come out of it and all the rest. But
in time, you heal them.
Yeah.
I was actually diagnosed with postpartum depression after the birth of my second son. But after my first son, looking back on it, I know that I had it then as well. Like, it was months and months and months of deep exhaustion, but just that vibrancy to life was gone. Yeah. It was everything was muted, and I was not developing that connection with my baby that I thought that I was going to. I just, honestly, my husband and I actually bought a house, I swear, to make ourselves feel better, because I was in such a funk. And I think it's, obviously there's lots of biological things that are going on in our body when we bring a baby into the world, but there's a lot of psychological and mental and emotional things too. I mean, I remember thinking, I'd worked so hard to go to school and study all these things and be identified and have measurements, at how I was doing in life. Those metrics were sort of in place, and then when I had a baby, it was like in an instant. It's now how now I measure myself is how well can I get them to sleep? How well can I read their cues? How well, and I had no training for that.
Yes.
I'd been studying all these years for my career, and yet, there was nothing really. And I just think that first year after your baby's born is such a difficult time for so many women. And in our culture, we don't. There's not as much, there's this feeling you got to do it on your own. You have to do it alone in isolation. And if you're not doing it well in isolation, then you're not super mom and you're not doing it right. And I think, so there's this whole spectrum, right from baby blues all the way up to some significant mental illnesses that people are dealing with in that postpartum period that
definitely
cripple some people. And I've heard, when I started to open up about what I went through, I wrote a blog about it and everything, done lots of speaking about it. People come out of the woodwork telling me their stories as well. And it's absolutely heartbreaking, because there's no shame around, struggling in that period after you have a baby. There's absolutely no shame in that. And I really am passionate about this, because I want women who are, there's a lot of pressure. I remember going to the earlier center and feeling I had to have my hair well showered, put
and
together.
The baby perfect.
And you're all telling all these great stories about how wonderful life is. Meanwhile, meanwhile, you were screaming and crying in the closet like 2 hours before, right? Like that's just totally. It's not real, and it's so. It breaks my heart because there's a lot of women out there who are suffering alone, and I just want you to know that Liane is creating programming here, and we are creating programming here at She Thrives, because we want you to have a safe place to land. Like, we want you to have a place where you can come and talk about it real, like, authentically, like without
someone going, what kind of mom are you?
Exactly.
It's just the realities of what you go through after you've had a baby, and that adjustment, and like you said, the shift in hormones, and just the huge play that it has in our minds and our mental health. And there's just not, I don't feel that there's enough questions being asked of moms after baby's born. It's, well, how's the baby? And there's not enough of how are you? And how are you doing? How are you managing? How are you feeling? And the reality is that the sooner women seek help and speak out, the easier and the faster it is to stem things and help them get back to feeling healthier and feeling happy about being a mom, and getting to enjoy those baby mom moments where you get to bond with your baby. And it's so critically important. And so, I'm so excited to be here at She Thrives. And one of the things that a lot of the practitioners, including myself, do is offering complimentary 15-minute consultations. So really, really simple. If anyone wants to talk to me, just to go, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. Do you think it is postpartum, or is it just lack of sleep? If you have those kind of questions, please feel free to message me or call me. I'd be glad to have a conversation with anyone and just put your minds at ease, or let you know where you can get some help or some extra supports, because it's so, so important.
I agree, and I really thank you for doing that, for doing the intro meetings, because I think when you're trying to find someone to support you in your return to wellness, you need to get the chemistry right too. And so it helps when women can come in and be able to meet you and start that process of forming a relationship, because I've been to therapy, I've been to sessions, and I know how absolutely nerve-wracking it could be to come in for that first session. Like, I was sweating the first time I had to go in and tell my story for the first time, to a complete stranger. And so it's really beautiful that you offer that intercession so that people can come and the two of you can meet and see if working together makes sense. But I just want to talk about one thing, because it's just coming to present mind about postpartum depression, in case there's someone out there who's wondering whether or not you're living with it. One of the things that really surprised me when I realized that that's what I was living with was that my symptoms didn't fit what I typically understood was depression.
Right.
So I've never experienced anything where I felt like I couldn't get out of bed, or I couldn't go about my day. But boy, oh boy, have I dealt with anger and irritability. When I started to research postpartum depression and realized that when you're depressed, anger and irritability can actually be a real symptom of depression.
Yes. It's not just laying in bed.
No, it's not. I mean, I just never experienced that. I feel how that would be so debilitating if you did, but I didn't. I had energy but I had a lot of irritability, a lot of anger. And so I just wanted to, remind people out there that sometimes depression doesn't always look exactly like,
Hi, Tara. I see you there.
Hi, Tara. How are you? So sometimes it can look and feel in different ways. Absolutely. And so that's why if you just feel like you're not you're not feeling right, you're not feeling normal, it's good to get it, it's good to go and talk to somebody and just get it checked out. I mean, that's what we always encourage women is, like you said, the sooner you go and get it checked out, the better, right?
Just talk about it. That's the easiest way to find out
yes
what's going on. And so thank you guys so much for joining us. It's nice to see some people joining live, and I know people will watch this afterwards, but Fantastic. So if you have any questions about postpartum depression, please post them in the comments below the video. Also, if you have any ideas for topics that you'd like to hear us talking about on Mental Health Mondays, please also put those in the comments below so that we are tackling topics that you want to hear about and you want to learn more about.
Yep, great.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Sarah.
Bye,
we'll
everybody.
See you later, guys.